Hello and welcome to Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio. This is Stefan, your host, British by birth, American by choice. The Founding Fathers crafted some remarkable documents that led to the creation of a great country founded on liberty and self-reliance. I have lived in the Euro-socialist nightmare, and I'm doing what I can to return this country to the vision that the Founding Fathers gave us. We need to strive to rebuild that shining city on the hill, for without us, the world has nowhere to turn for freedom. For the next hour, I will be presenting news, views, and guests that help keep the true spirit of America alive. And folks, yes, welcome to episode 343. Obviously a very special event tonight for those of you that are listening live. This is, of course, election night, and we're watching the results coming in, and I actually have Fox News channels so that I can call it as they come in. And the big news that happened just before I went on the air is that our friends in Florida did the right thing, and Fox has just called Florida for Donald Trump. Add to that North Carolina and Ohio that were called earlier in the evening. And about 20 minutes ago, all of a sudden, Fox News Channel hosts, and a lot of them are people, there's Chris Stirewalt there, Megyn Kelly, Karl Rove, and they've all been kind of, it's going to be a difficult path for him. And now they're all talking about the path that the difficult path that Hillary has to get to 270. So, in 20 minutes, the tone on everybody talking at Fox News just flipped, and we saw pictures from the Trump meeting where they're following everything. Of course, a lot of very happy people there, and it was mentioned that all of a sudden the Hillary campaign headquarters, the mood had also changed, and not for the best. So and I apologize to those listeners who listen to the recordings or the rebroadcast of this show. By the time you're listening to this, of course, you will realize you will actually know whether or not Donald Trump was able to make it. But just right now, I do want to give a little bit of commentary on what's going on, some of the things that we've been hearing, and then perhaps next thing I'll do is just talk a little bit. I found some interesting analysis on the web or prediction on the web about what will happen depending on whether Hillary or Trump wins. And as I said, as we start the show, the electoral votes now are 202 to 216, so it is still wide open. So it's going to depend on some of the Rust Belt states like Minnesota, like Wisconsin, etc., that will make the difference, and then we'll see. So I'll probably go into this discussion of what might happen depending on who wins. There's some things about the political scene, about the economy. But in the meanwhile, while we're talking about the Rust Belt, in Wisconsin, interestingly enough, and I hope, a pointer for the future, Russ Feingold was not able to beat Ron Johnson. And it was a fairly reasonable difference in the vote there. And so, to me, that means Wisconsin should be put into the column of leaning towards the GOP, leaning towards Trump. Because if Feingold can't beat Johnson, and at one point I believe he was at least equal, if not ahead of Johnson. So if Johnson's come back, that's very good for the GOP in Michigan. Now, they're still saying that Pennsylvania and Michigan are too early to call. It's going to be a nail-biter. But the good news is it is a reasonably sizable difference in Florida. I think somewhere between 100,000 and 150,000 votes. So we're not going to have armies of lawyers down there, hopefully. If they do, then, of course, they can start talking about Broward County, where apparently somebody has filed an affidavit that there were people from the Supervisor of Elections group filling in absentee ballots in a room. And somehow I don't think they were filling them out for Trump or evenly filling them out. So since they start to look into that sort of stuff, so I don't know. I suspect that's not going to happen. So no lawyers heading off there, but there could be some other ones that are close. Fox has just called something which is not a surprise. I think they could have done that even before the polls closed, and that's that Clinton will win California. Would have been rather funny if that had been very close. I can't see the amounts for California, but we'll, I don't, nobody expected that to happen. So I have to say, up to half an hour ago, I was looking at things saying, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. I was going to be a little. I guess downbeat. I was trying not to be downbeat, but now things looking a lot better. And those are not the only kind of good signs. Oh, what's this? Oh, no, that's Florida, right, yeah. And that's going to be about a 1.3% difference between Hillary and Trump in Florida. But some other things. The New York Times, and we all know how much the New York Times loves Donald Trump. They have, in the last hour, had put something on their online site. I don't go there, but this actually came again from Fox News. And they projected a Trump victory with 91% certainty. So that's very interesting. Maybe they're doing that because they figure if they make it like that, a lot of Trump voters on the West Coast will not go out and vote. Maybe not. Or maybe they're just being realistic and they have some numbers. Obviously, Fox News wasn't ready to go that far yet. Nate Silverman, the 538 blog that a lot of people are quoting because they seem to think that he is pretty good at making predictions, is he's putting Trump at a 75% likelihood of winning. So I think right now, looking really good. And again, for my listeners who listen to the rebroadcast and the recordings, my apologies. You'll already know what has happened, but I want to give you a sense of what it feels like. I'm sure you were watching the polls yourself, maybe not listening to the show. But those of you that are listening, I see Rex is in the chat room there. So if you're listening live, do get over into the chat room and you can communicate with me. You can communicate with Rex, one of our regular listeners. And Rex, thanks for coming and sharing these exciting minutes with me. be interesting to see whether or not we get a full decision by the time the show ends, which will be close to Eastern midnight Eastern. Let's see. Trump is now has got another 6. This is Utah has been called for Trump. I think no surprise there. So he's up at 222. So he is now 48 electoral votes away from winning the White House. Man, this is so exciting. And then again, on the other hand, let me just say, what is slightly disappointing to me, that we even went into this evening, even thinking that it wasn't going to be a blowout for Trump. I just don't understand how so many people can stick their heads in the sand, or maybe even somewhere else, which I can't mention because this show gets rebroadcast on FCC-controlled airwaves. But how so many people can ignore the mountain of evidence that is out there about the wrongdoing of Hillary Clinton, the corruption, the fraud, the lying, everything. And I know people say, oh, yes, but Jim Comey said, well, he's flip-flopped 3 times now. He has totally lost all integrity. Why is he doing it? Very difficult to say. First time round, I think everybody was shocked. He spent 15 minutes listing everything that she'd done wrong, and so everybody said, wow, he's really going to pull the trigger on that? And then he comes out and says, but no prosecutor would actually want to prosecute this, so we're not going to prosecute her. And after listing everything, so you see a lot of the tinfoil hat stuff out on the internet. Clinton campaign has something over it, and I think that's a very plausible. Situation. But let's talk a little bit more about that after the break. Even though it's election night, I'm going to take breaks, and I'm going to be playing a little bit more music tonight because I need to be able to relax. And unfortunately, with the rush to get ready for this show and watching everything, don't have any beer with me to drink. I did have one shortly before I started the show, but I've actually been bottling beer, getting it ready, because I have some beers that, or beer and cider actually, that were ready, had finished fermenting, and so I was bottling them. But they're not ready, so I can't drink them, and I just didn't bring a glass of beer up with me. So, anyway, commercial time. I will be back shortly.
You can lose 10, 20, 30 pounds or more with Maximum Slim's first ever rapid weight loss guarantee. Today, you get Maximum Slim, an advanced fat and carb blocker, absolutely risk-free. The all-natural ingredients in Maximum Slim are a powerful weight loss combination. The Maximum Slim formula turns your body into a fat-burning furnace that supercharges your weight loss. Advanced fat and carb blocker stops the breakdown of sugar so your body doesn't store it as fat. Today, you'll get both of these products absolutely risk-free with no obligation. Only pay shipping. There are no expensive meal plans or exhausting DVDs. Just take Maximum Slim twice a day. It's fast, simple, and now it's guaranteed. Look, you can start losing weight today or not. Go back to your high school days and wear your favorite jeans again. Guaranteed. Call now and get both weight loss formulas free. Call 800-451-0228. 800-451-0228. That's 800-451-0228.
Doc, you gotta give it to me straight.
All right.
'Cause I'm dying here. I mean, take a look at this letter from the IRS.
Oh, my.
This is killing me, Doc. I tell you, it's killing me.
Cheer up, my friend.
Huh?
The tax doctor is here. My diagnosis tells me that you're going to be just fine.
Really?
The tax doctor will not rest until we find you the best possible tax settlement.
Really, Doc?
Guaranteed.
If the IRS claims you owe them $10,000 or more in business or personal back taxes, call a tax doctor right now. We could save you up to 75% if you qualify. Guaranteed or you pay nothing. Call right now for free details.
800-917-8546. 800-917-8546. 800-917-8546. That's 800-917-8546.
You're listening to Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio, broadcast on the internet, and also available at archives.patrickcomelately.us, a proud member of the Red Nation Rising Radio Network.
Taking my country back, putting it back on the right track. Corrupt politicians making bad decisions, we all had enough of that. If our founding fathers could talk today, I could hear them say, take your country back, my friend. You gotta take your country back. Get out of my way or slip on this train. I'm headed to my Washington house to let those suckers know on election day I'm gonna kick most of them on out. And shout no more high taxes. We want a free market system. We don't like socialism. See, we believe in capitalism. And we love our children, and we love this nation. So let's protect our borders and protect our freedom. I'm taking my country back, putting it back on the right track. Corrupt politicians making bad decisions, we all had enough of that. If our founding fathers could talk today, I could hear them say, take your country back. Oh yeah, son, you gotta take your country back. Take your country back. Oh yeah, you gotta take your country back. Now Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and John Quincy Adams too. If you could go to Washington one more time, what would you say or do? I'd say no more high taxes. We want a free market system. We don't like socialism. See, we believe in capitalism. And we love our children. And we love this nation. That's why we wrote the Constitution, to protect our freedom. So start taking your country back, putting it back on the right track. Now corrupt politicians making bad decisions, we all had enough of that. If our founding fathers could talk today, I could hear them say, take your country back right now. Yeah, you gotta take your country back. I'll take your country back right now. Son, you gotta take your country back. Oh, take it back. Take it back. And put it back on the right track. Oh, take it back. Take it back. And put it back on the right track. And put it back on the right track. Oh, yeah. God help us take our country back. right track. Oh yeah, take it back. Oh, take it back and put it back on the right track. Oh, take it back, take it back, take it back, take it back and put it back on the right track.
Yeah, that's Take Your Country Back. I've played that song a few times over the last few months, and I think a very apt song tonight. And we might be able to do that, but it's not certain yet, folks. So again, for those of you listening live, I know that it's a smaller number than listen to the recordings, but we're not there yet. And like I said, those of you that are listening to the rebroadcast or the recordings, yeah, you're going to, by the time you listen, you will probably know what happened. So anyway, before the break, I was talking about Jim Comey. And let's just have a look at why he flip-flopped 3 times. And it's all conjecture. There's no evidence anywhere, and we'll probably never find out for certain. But it just all seems so strange to me. So let's start off in July, that he would list everything she'd done wrong and then say she shouldn't be prosecuted. That, to me, is something that really comes from the meeting on the airplane on the tarmac in, where was it, Phoenix or whatever, between Slick Willie and the head of the Department of Injustice, yes, the untrustworthiest lady, even worse than Holder. So he was being leaned on, but would that be enough for him to take a decision, or did the Clinton campaign have something on him? And with all the connections between Mark Epstein and Slick Willie himself, right? The guy that runs the Lolita Express and Orgy Island. A lot of rumors going around, and again, these are only just rumors, but that there are a lot of high-ups in Washington, D.C. that will do the Clintons' bidding because they have been involved with either the Lolita Express or Orgy Island, or both. Could Jim Comey be one of those? Yeah, Loretta Lynch. Couldn't get on the name. Senior moment there. Thank you, Rex, for reminding me. Could Jim Comey be there? And by the way, while we're talking about that tinfoil hat stuff, could Justice Roberts be part of that? Is that why he suddenly came out with that very strange decision on Obamacare? But anyway, I digress. Not Mark Epstein, right. Jeff Epstein. Thank you, Rex. Getting my names mixed up. I'm a little too excited, I guess. Let's see, how are we doing here? It's still 222 to 202, so no new projections. We're going to have to wait a little bit. Anyway, so Comey, for whatever reason, was leaned upon, whether they have extra stuff on him or whatever. So he took that decision in July and said, okay, I'm going to recommend not prosecuting, which is very strange because he should never have taken that, because it is not the FBI's decision to take that. So he was obviously doing this on behalf of the Department of Injustice and Loretta Lynch, I think. But maybe there was more to it. Of course, he realized that what he did wasn't right. I think he was very much torn after he'd done it, even though he kind of probably had to do it for whatever reason. And so, what was it, 10 days ago or so, when the Anthony Weiner thing came up, and the New York Police Department said, we found a ton of stuff on here, and he knew it was going to break. I think he saw it as an opportunity to kind of get back some integrity. And so he flip-flopped, and he said, okay, now we're investigating this again. And then I think what happened, whatever was being held over him, well, all of a sudden he was reminded about that, and he was told he needs to find a way to back out of what he just said. And that's what happened on, Friday, when he said, okay, we've looked at everything, and no change. Now, I think there's lots of rumors as well about dissatisfaction in the ranks of the FBI, and so I think his second flip-flop was also to try and stem that. The third one was CYA protecting his own thing. He's lost all integrity. Whatever happens, I believe he knows his job's gone. Whoever wins. Yep. And Rex wrote in the chat room, yep, Comey, you're about to be fired. Especially if Donald Trump does win, but even if Hillary, I don't think she trusts him anymore. The president doesn't trust him. I mean, he should have been a man of honor. When the president came out and said, well, I don't think Comey did the right thing, Comey should have just said, and that would have been the best thing to do, and that would have shaken things up and would have showed, and it would have been better than doing this third flip-flop, would have shown that he has a bit of backbone. He should have said, okay, you don't have any trust in me anymore, Mr. President. You appointed me, I resign. He should have resigned, and that would have been a much more honorable thing to do. And then people would have given him a little bit of credit. Now he is just totally nothing. He is just an absolute nothing. And good luck to him, because he's done. Anyway, folks, I see it is time for another commercial, so I'm going to take another break. Like I said, pity I don't have any beer. But anyway, I may take a beer. I don't think I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to wait up a little bit and see if we get more news, because I do want to know. But in the meanwhile, let's have a quick commercial and maybe a bit more music.
Patriot come lately. British by birth. American by choice. Just like the Founding Fathers. The voice of the conservative resistance.
This is Stefan, your Patriot come lately, proud to be on Red Nation Rising Radio. These can be dark and depressing times, but Main Street USA finally has a competitive voice to traditional mainstream media outlets. And it's screaming at all hours, 24/7, we want our country back. America, it's time to wake up, expose the regressives, and keep listening to the new dominant force in conservative internet talk radio, the Red Nation Rising Radio Network, powered by ICRN.
Not too long ago, it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank, didn't it? For a vacation or a new car. But today, withdrawing your own cash has become risky. Pat Boone here for Swiss America. According to The Secret War, a new Swiss America white paper, I learned that all banks are now required to spy on you and me for the government, and then report any financial behavior deemed suspicious or unusual. You must read The Secret War. It's free. Truth is, I believe the government's new war against cash is really a war against us all. But the secret is now out. So please, get and read The Secret War.
Call 800-516-3405. 800-516-3405. 800-516-3405. Call right now. That number again is 800-516-3405.
You're listening to Patriot Come Lately Talk Radio, broadcast on the internet, and also available at archives.patriotcomelately.us, a proud member of the Red Nation Rising Radio Network. Okay, folks, I think time for some music. Now, this next song applies, actually, whoever wins, so as we still don't know, I'm going to play this. It's a song by Bruce Ballot. Before we go into that, last time I looked, the total national votes that have been reported has Donald Trump up about 2.4% on Hillary. Now, of course, there's a lot of California needs to come in, the West Coast, etc. So just wonder whether or not the popular vote will stay in Donald Trump's column. But let's see what happens. Like I said, maybe we'll get a little bit more news before the end of the show. But in the meanwhile, let's just relax and savor the moment that things are looking good and let our blood pressure go down and just have a little bit of fun with this song.
You promised us hope and change, got no hope, Bush got blamed, calling down the foreign kings, they don't need apologies, jobs are gone, gas is high, rich vacations make us cry, Obama, you failed us, you're fired. They laugh at us far and wide, but we are here to set it right, had your fun, done us wrong, now we vote to send you home. Take your home, keep your change. All you do is give us pain. Obama, you failed us. You're fired. Like a lone ranger, we're hip to your game. Not afraid of the danger. We don't give a dang. Fearless crusaders, we got pride. Obama, you failed us, you're fired. Yeah. You buy your votes, make new rules, but we the people won't be fooled. We're on to you, media too. Compromise will never do. Had enough sacred cows, your days in power numbered now. Obama, you failed us, you're fired. Like a lone ranger, we're hip to your game, not afraid of the danger, we don't give a dang, fearless crusaders, we got pride. Obama, you failed us, you're fired. So break out that suitcase, pack up those fruitcakes. Obama, you failed us, you're fired. Obama, you failed us. You're fired. Goodbye.
And of course, that was Bruce Ballot. Obama, you're fired. We know that he's fired. Of course, now we have to worry about Michelle. I've seen lots of rumors about her coming. Anyway, so I think we've finished talking about Comey. Rex in the chat room mentioned he would pay money to see Donald Trump, assuming Donald Trump wins, to see him fire Comey, because I think Comey must know he's going to be fired. And I was just saying in the chat room, either way, because I can imagine that Hillary isn't really very happy about him either. Fox News is showing a picture of the Clinton headquarters, and they look very, very quiet. Anyway, let's see. So I am watching Fox News, but I want to make some comments about Fox News as well. And again, this is not anything to do with the, in a way, with the result today, but just over the last few weeks, I've been making comments a lot of the time about some of the hosts being very anti-Trump. Start in the morning, Bill Hemmer, Martha McCallum have been pretty negative. Shep Smith is very negative. Brett Baer has not been all that positive. Megyn Kelly, obviously. Brit Hume, after he took out, Greta was always in favor of Trump. Brit Hume is, I think, kind of neutral. I'll give him that. Sean Hannity was very positive and just was very open about it. And Bill O'Reilly was his usual kind of pompous self, but wasn't very negative. So add it all up during the day as well, and of course the five with Juan and Dana Perino, and then Dana Perino and Chris Steiwalt had that show, and they're also very anti-Trumpers. There was a lot of anti-Trump stuff, even in Fox News. And for a while I thought it was myself, but my son called us today and said he doesn't normally watch that much TV, but because of the election, he put Fox News on. He said, "What happened to Fox News?" He said, "All of a sudden it seems very anti-Trump." And he hasn't watched them in a long time. So here's someone who, doesn't have a bias and got in there and all of a sudden thought the same as well. So very interesting about that. So how do we go forward now? Right? And Rex says, yep, Murdoch's sons, who are liberals, running the place. So is it going to disintegrate? Now, they have just appointed Tucker Carlson to take over a greater slot where Brit Hume is doing, right, on the record, so 7 till 8 p.m. on weekdays. Tucker Carlson is taking that over, and he's very much a Trump favorite. And I'm just wondering whether or not the Murdochs decided to do that to keep Sean Hannity, because I think if they'd put somebody else who was more liberal and anti-Trump, I think Sean Hannity would have walked. Where would Sean Hannity go? Well, he might go to CRTV. CRTV is an online internet TV network that's been set up. Mark Levin, Michelle Malkin, and Mark Stein. Now, I was a little disappointed in Mark Levin being very anti-Trump, but he came round eventually. Michelle Malkin has always been pretty much in favor of Trump. I haven't noticed that she's been very negative. And Mark Stein has just been his usual self. Very funny, I guess. I like his sense of humor, but we kind of share a background, so I guess that's things. So that would be an interesting channel, and if they could get Hannity and maybe Eric Bolling and Kimberly Guilfoyle, they could make a real go of it. And I was saying to my wife the other day, these internet TV channels, at a certain point, we can cut the cable or throw away the dish because we may not need it. Just do it all via the internet. Glenn Beck, who unfortunately has really disgraced himself with everything that he said, but you have to give it to the guy. A lot of what he said was correct. It's just that he went so crazy about things. But a lot of what he said was correct. The ISIS and the Islamic Caliphate, the internet as a TV channel with the Blaze network. Now, I don't know whether it's very successful right now. I know a lot of people that worked for him have left him, but hey, he was very forward-seeing. I'll give him that. Like I said, it's a shame that he went off the deep end and things. So anyway, but we'll see what happens. I think there's going to be a big shake-up, not just in politics, but also in the media after all this, and that would be very interesting. So, what are we doing now? Okay, they have finally projected that my home state, Georgia, is for Trump, and that puts Trump up with some other ones at 254. So we are now 16 away from winning the White House, folks. It is getting very close, and Clinton's only at 209, and that must include California. So a lot of the biggies have gone. So now the question, can Trump get Michigan? What's going to, I don't know, did they call New Hampshire? Because I think they were going to call it, looked like it was going to go for Clinton, but did they actually call it? 254, folks. It's getting closer. It's getting closer. And what else is getting closer as I look at my screen? It's time for my last commercial. So, folks, let's go into the commercial, and I'll be right back.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more on your federal or state income taxes, I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. The IRS, with their Fresh Start initiative, is offering more flexible terms to Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. They can help you lift your wage garnishments, stop bank levies, and put your tax problem behind you once and for all. If you owe tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS or state, our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, we can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your debt for far less than what you owe. 800-357-8110. 800-357-8110. 800-357-8110. 800-357-8110.
The offer of a franchise can only be made through delivery of a franchise disclosure document. Imagine yourself being a leader in America's fastest growing demographic category. More than 10,000 people a day turn 65, and a large percentage are going to need a helping hand at home or in choosing the right assisted living community. Always Best Care is looking for people who've excelled at everything they've done, but they're seeking a new challenge. Always Best Care is one of the fastest growing companies in this explosive field. We're looking for 25 new franchisees to keep our booming business growing. We'll back you up with the strongest award-winning marketing program in the industry, and we'll provide the special training and support that's fueled our growth to prepare you for this great opportunity. All that's missing is you. Call Always Best Care toll-free at 1-800-643-7508. That's 1-800-643-7508. For Always Best Care, 1-800-643-7508. Call today.
You're listening to Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio, broadcast on the internet, and also available at archives.patrickcomelately.us, a proud member of the Red Nation Rising Radio Network. Okay, folks, we've got about 8 minutes left in the show, so the big question, will we get those 16 electoral votes in these last 8 minutes? I don't think we will. So we will. It looks like we'll close down the show without knowing, but things are looking good. So keep your fingers crossed. And like I said, for all my recording and rebroadcast listeners, you will know by the time you listen to this show. But hopefully you will enjoy some of the excitement of seeing these things happening live. I'm sure many of you that listened were watching live, but if you sort of said, I just can't stand the stress, I'm going to go to bed and sleep and wake up in the morning and find out what, maybe this is a way for you to share in some of the excitement that we went through everything. So let's see. But very interesting. Lots of happy faces. Fox News is showing the Donald Trump campaign headquarters in New York. Lots of happy faces there, less happy faces on the Hillary one, and of course DirecTV has now got locked up again. So I don't know, there was just a cheer went up, but I don't know what's going on. But we'll see. So, of course, here we go. Has it changed? No, we're still at 254. So, and Clinton is still at 209. So I think, yes, as we get close to the end of the show, we will have to sign off without really knowing what happened. Which is a shame, but of course next week I'm going to have a full analysis of what it was. Just keep your fingers crossed, right, that we can get those final 16 to push him over the top, and we'll talk about it next week. What I also want to do, I don't think it'll be next week, but I know Rex is listening. Many years ago, I used to have a lot of guests on when I was doing it through Blog Talk Radio, and used to enjoy having live guests on the show. Well, I'm going. Spreaker now has a capability which I've been trying to force myself to get activated. So I think next week we'll have a look at the final result and either celebrate a bit or cry a little bit if it does go the wrong way for those final 16 and Donald can't quite get them. But I'm going to try for the week after that. I would like to get Rex on the show and talk about his latest books. It's been a while since I've had a guest, so I'd love to do that. So I will, can't promise anything, folks, but we'll do that. And the other thing is that I will offer to my listeners is next week I was going to try and do it this week, but because I wanted to watch the results and I have to do that on my phone because I don't have a TV in my office up here, I wasn't able to do my Facebook Live that I said I would try tonight. So next week I'm going to try Facebook Live, which means you can listen to the show through Spreaker, but you can also watch me if you want to. Won't be a lot to see. It'll just be me and my microphone, but something different. Now, I have to say the Facebook Live feed, the audio will not have the interludes, the music, the commercials, which Mary, of course, might prefer to actually listening just to the audio. She might want to look at that, but just wanted to let you know. I'm going to try that and just see how that works out. And then 2 weeks from now, I'm now really going to make an effort, and I will get in touch with you, Rex, and see what we can do about getting you on and talk about your books. Like I said, I really want to get back to the ability to have some guests, and I think Rex, you're the best one to do it, and of course make you the most visited guest on the show, because I think you've been on at least 2, maybe 3 times now, and of course this would be the 4th time then. So, and even the 3rd time I've not had anybody on that often, so you're going to be number 1 guest on the show. Okay, folks, we're still waiting to see if those 16 votes, electoral votes, come in. They are not coming in. I want to thank those of you that listened live, even though you weren't in the chat room. So I think maybe not that many live right now. A lot of other channels that you want to watch for results. But next week should be good. Like I said, I'm hoping that it will be a bit of a party, and we'll have had good news in the meanwhile. and we can celebrate a little bit after all the hard work that's gone on over the last few years. Maybe we're finally where we need to be. I think it looks like we're going to keep the Senate. We're almost certainly going to keep the House. We may lose a few seats, but not enough to make any major difference. I think we're going to keep the Senate, and even if it's a tie in the Senate, if Donald Trump can get those 16 electoral votes, then we get the vice president, and basically we keep the Senate as well. Very thin margin, obviously, just having the VP, but we do. But I think we may keep it by 1 or 2 at least. I think last time I looked, the Dems were up 1 in the Senate, so we'd lost 1 of the 4 that they have to win, but not more than that. So we keep our fingers crossed. It should be a fun party next week, and if it's a wake, we'll just look and see what we can expect. I was going to talk about what if Hillary wins, what if Trump wins. We didn't really get round to that. I'll pick the predictions that this person made. His name was Thomas Del Beccaro, and just see what he thinks his predictions are for whichever one actually won. But keep our fingers crossed, folks, and keep praying. We've got to get those final ones in there. So do join me next week. We're almost at the end of the show, and just a reminder, you can always reach me, Stefan at patrickcomelately.us, if you've got any comments, feedback, questions. Love to hear from my listeners, and come join us in the chat room next week. It should be a lot of fun there. I'm sure Rex will be there, hopefully some of the other regular listeners, and I'm sure we'll have a rare old time, especially if Donald does what we're all hoping that he will do. So, folks, it is time to say TTFN. There's the music. Ta-ta for now. See you next week, and thanks for coming. Keep your fingers crossed. Thank you for listening to the show. I hope that you enjoyed tonight's topics. Whether you listened live, to a recording, or to a rebroadcast, I appreciate the time you share with me. We need to spread the message of liberty far and wide, so please tell your friends and family about the show. Thank you for helping to keep the beacon of hope burning. This is Stefan, your Patrick Come Lately, signing off. God bless America, and remember, L3, long live liberty.